Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Tej, and today I'm gonna be showing y'all how 808 Melo makes UK drill beats for Pop Smoke. I'm gonna be making the melodies from scratch, and yeah, without further ado, let's just hop right into it. Getting the melody organized and everything took quite a while. I did pretty much all of it off camera, and I'm just gonna show you kind of how I constructed it. So to start the melodies, I went into the big soft strings preset in Xband, and I drew out these string chords. And there's just some bass notes down here that kind of correspond with the notes up here. And then with that first pattern, I threw halftime on it and an EQ to cut out the lows and some of the highs. And then I opened up the solo violin preset in Xband and drew out a melody on top of it. And then I think for effects on this one, I just added a little bit of reverb, turned the wet up, a little bit of decay in the high cut. Then opened up the ambient piano preset in Xband and drew out these kind of like staggered chords. And with the rest of the melodies, it sounds like this. And then I threw a halftime on that too, because it kind of interferes with the violin. So altogether, the melody now sounds like this. So then I rendered it all out. And so what I did is I took the pattern, I put it in the piano roll, selected it, and went to the mixer here, and then just click this red dot right here on the master, and then hit Alt R, and then just click start, and it renders out an audio clip. And so now that you have the audio clip, right click on it, and then select open a new SliceX channel. And then I went into SliceX, and this is the melody I came up with in SliceX. And so the way that I did that is I selected all of it using Control A, and then I went to this wrench tool right here, left clicked on it, and under time I selected reverse, and it reversed all the clips. And then I went to this icon here, right clicked on it, and then did medium grid slicing, and I kind of moved these little markers around a little bit so that it would work better in the piano roll. And then so once I had that, I just had all my chops kind of organized here. So it's kind of like Fruity Slicer, where you could get different slices and whatnot, just kind of arrange them. So then once I did that, I just kind of arranged out this melody. And I know it sounds really rough around the edges, but through effects and the rest of the beat, it'll come together. So for effects, I put a low cut EQ and cut out some of the high mids. Just put a default chorus on it, turn the knob down, went to gross beat and went to momentary and selected the sidechain gate pattern, and then turned the volume down here with using this knob. So basically just how much the gate affects the audio clip. I turned it to 50% in the mixer settings, and then I put a high cut EQ on it to cut out a little bit of that high end, so that way the drums, like the hi-hats, snares, etc., can pop more. And then I put a little bit of Soundgoodizer just to make it a little louder so it wasn't too quiet when I rendered it out. With all the effects, it now sounds like this. And so I did the same thing, just selected it in my arrangement space, clicked Alt R in the mixer, and then I have this final audio clip, and I pitched it down 200 cents, so now it sounds like this. So now that we've done all that, I'm gonna just go straight into the drums and show y'all how I did all that. So for pretty much most of the sounds, if not all the sounds that I used, they were all from 808 Melo's Dior drum kit. And so the first thing I pulled up was this Dior snare. It sounds like this. And so in context, it sounds like this with the melody. Nice, good job. And then I went and added a hi-hat. It's a pretty simple hi-hat pattern, but for drill, it's really important that you get like a good hi-hat bounce. It wouldn't be similar to like a two-step pattern that would normally be in like most trap beats. It's kind of like a staggered triplet beat. A two-step hi-hat would have something like this here, but notice how these notes are like kind of staggered out. So instead of having like a pretty uniform sound, it'll sound like this. And yeah, so I basically just had this pattern here for the first 2 measures and then just copy pasted it for the full 8 measure loop. And I just added some rolls here. I went to the magnet, selected the half step snapping, and just drew out these rolls and lowered the velocity. So altogether, the hi-hats and the rest sounds like this. And then I pulled up a perk sound and then just put it the and of 1 and the and of 2 for a couple snares. I added the Gotti Vox, and so I just drew out this pattern using that. And then I added my first 808 pattern out of the 2. And so for the 808, the reason it cuts out here is I threw an envelope on it, turned the hold all the way up and everything else down. The most like distinguished part of drill beats is the 808 slides. And so how I ended up doing that in this song, so for this third measure, for example, I went up here, put a slide, so you just double click and select this slide icon right there. And then after I did that, I just put the same note right after it, so it kind of slides up and then hits the same note again, but it's not slid on the second one. For these ones over here, I basically just repeated the same bottom note, but I just added a couple slides. So it's just F once every 2 of these little boxes. And then I just put a slide up to G, slide up to C. And then my next note following is this same first note that it slid up to, but just an octave lower. And the rest of it is more or less just copy pasted, except this one doesn't have the triplet pattern like it does here. So for the second 808 pattern, it's more or less the same, except some of the slides are different and some of the notes are. Like in the first one, this one was F and G, and this one's G and G sharp. So the second one just goes like this. The most significant change is that I just went here and I slid this up to G sharp and then G. I went and grabbed a kick and put it in. So in context, it sounds like this with the second 808 pattern. And more or less, it kind of just follows the 808 pattern with a couple extra hits here and there. All right, so that's pretty much it for the drums and whatnot. I'm gonna show you guys like the effects that I put in while arranging it. So I grabbed this riser from the drum kit, and I put that right before the first hit. And so 808 Melo does something similar to this, where he doesn't have the kick on the first 808 hit. He saves it for later in the 8-bar pattern, but I believe he only does that for like the first, when the 808 gets first introduced in Dior. And then I grabbed this like crash, I guess, sound from the kit. So in context, this is what it ends up sounding like. And then lastly, I added this like gunshot sound that he has in a lot of his beats. And I put that mainly just in the front of some of the drum patterns. And so that kind of sounds like this in context. And for the Vox sound that I was using Gotti, I just put it in here and there. I didn't have it frequently in the drum pattern. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the drums, arrangement, and melody. I'll finish mixing and mastering it. I'll put the full beat at the end. As always, thank you guys for watching the video. Leave some recommendations in the comments below. Hit the sub button. Stay tuned for future tutorials. Check out my other social medias. Link will be in the description. And yeah, I'll see y'all later.
Yo, Tez, what's up?